You guys, today we are talking about a supplement that I've been taking for the last year. I'm hearing more and more about this supplement, and that is NMN. So NMN is a precursor to NAD+, which is in every cell of our body. Although this is a relatively up-and-coming trend to take this supplement, I've been following Dr. David Sinclair, who is an expert in longevity and does a ton of longevity research. If you're not familiar with David Sinclair, definitely Google him, and I will link some of his research in the description box below. But I find science and longevity in the study of the human body really fascinating. And one of the things that I wanted to try, and I started this a year ago, was to see if the NMN, which is said to help boost energy and do a lot of revitalizing of cells in the mitochondria, if it would help some of my underlying health issues with autoimmune disease and the lack of energy that I have with that. Now, most of you who have been watching me for a while know that I had thyroid cancer and I had my thyroid removed. So that has affected my endocrine system and my energy production a lot. On top of that, I do struggle with a little bit of depression. And so I wanted to see if the addition of the NMN would help that energy, fatigue, depression, and just some of the autoimmune symptoms. So let me tell you just a little bit about NMN and what it is, and then we'll jump to NAD, because essentially NMN, it's like saying M&Ms. It's the letter N, M, N, and it stands for nicotinamide mononucleotide. And then that is a naturally occurring molecule found in every cell of every living organism. And it's basically what gives us energy, and it affects our mitochondria. And just like so many things in the human body, as we age, we stop having as much NMN and NAD+, which the NMN is converted to NAD+. At a molecular level, you guys, these words today, it's too early in the morning. On a molecular level, it affects the DNA. NMN is directly converted to nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. I'll get past the sciencey stuff and I'll just tell you about my experience here in just a minute, but bear with me because some of this background stuff is important. So nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, the NAD+, is a coenzyme for redox reaction, making it central to energy production. So really what I wanted to do was try this for a year and see if I felt any improvement in energy levels, fatigue, if any of my underlying endocrine system type of issues would be improved by this, because it does affect the endocrine system. So in the first 2 months, I really didn't see a whole lot of improvement because I was struggling with some depression after the death of my son. And I wasn't taking it 5 or 7 days a week. I was taking it maybe 3 or 4 days a week. I wasn't very consistent. I also was only taking one pill of 250 milligrams at first. So then after research and watching and listening to Dr. David Sinclair and really figuring out an adequate dosing, I started taking 2 of the 250 milligrams for 500 milligrams. With my research, this seems to be kind of the lowest effective dose. Many papers that I've read or things on the internet that I've read has said 250 milligrams is the lowest effective dose, but that didn't seem to really work for me. So I jumped to 500 milligrams, and Dr. David Sinclair takes 1,000 or 1 gram. So I take half of what he's currently taking, and I started to notice a difference. So the other thing is taking it in the morning, not waiting until noon or nighttime, because it does kind of need to go along with your circadian rhythm. So when I took it consistently, 500 milligrams in the morning, it definitely started to have improvements on my energy. With that improvement on my energy came improvements in my mood and just my overall productivity. And so I did find it to be beneficial. Now, 1 year later, I'm still taking it. I'm still taking 500 milligrams, and I'm contemplating going up to 1,000 milligrams a day, just to see if in this next year, the 1,000 milligrams, which is what many take, and this is what Dr. David Sinclair takes as well, if that has a more significant improvement on energy. So I think above and beyond energy, some of the promising information that is coming out about NAD+ and NMN, they're kind of one and the same. So this converts to NAD+. some of the findings are really promising in what it does for lifespan and for longevity. Above and beyond the energy would be, having a longer life, having that mitochondrial repair in our cells. And it sounds like the studies that are coming out, a lot of them have been done in mice. There are human studies now happening, but not as much as far as stuff we can get our hands on to read quite yet. There are a few things, but you can definitely do a deep dive on this and find a lot of YouTube videos. David Sinclair is really great research. I've tried a couple other things that he's suggested and that he's implemented in his anti-aging regimen as far as supplements, which are very helpful. And one of them being non-diabetic, taking metformin for the benefits that it has and for the longevity that it can bring to us. So metformin is something that I'm also taking, which I do get prescribed to me through an online doctor. And I'll do a whole nother video on the benefits of taking low-dose metformin just for disease prevention. And it's found that people taking metformin have less disease and better blood markers than those who are not. So that's something that I've recently started trying, and I'll tell you more when I get a better feel for what that's actually doing for me. But something that's readily available and doesn't require a prescription is NMN. And I started out taking the 250, like I said, in a non-liposomal formula or non-liposomal capsule, and I've moved to taking it in a more in a liposomal type formula, which is supposed to be more bioavailable. So I have liked using that. It's hard to say the non-liposomal versus liposomal, which one is actually better, but based on what I'm learning and what I'm seeing, I definitely felt strongly about trying the liposomal formula. So for me, the decline of NAD+ as we age, what that does to our energy and what that does on a cellular level and to our mitochondria, it just made sense to me to give this a try, especially considering my background with endocrine issues. But I think anybody who's aging and who has a decline in these important proteins and enzymes, we could really deep dive into all of that, but it affects so much that it makes sense to give it a try to see if the benefit is there. So far, 1 year in, at 250 milligrams in the beginning, I didn't see a difference. At 500 milligrams, I definitely started seeing an improvement in energy and productivity. And my hope is that it actually does have a significant impact on our mitochondria as we age and leads to a longer lifespan, a healthier and more vibrant and active lifespan. There are a few people online who have said that it has affected things like their skin. I can't say that I really see a change in my skin. I take good care of my skin. So to give any credit to the NMN supplement, I don't think is fair. And I don't want to overhype this as some kind of miracle pill because I think sometimes that happens. So I'm not going to factor any of the reported skin benefits into this. I suppose it's possible. Like I said, I just can't really say for sure that I've noticed any improvements in my skin. But I can say without question that it has improved my energy. I'm hoping that it really does help with the whole mitochondrial and cellular repair and longevity. I'm trying to keep this not super scientific so that it's basically just easy to digest and get right to the point. I'll leave the sciencey stuff to the scientist, but I do love science and longevity and we're living in a time where there is so much available to us as far as research, and we're living longer than ever, more vibrantly than ever. And I think for me that's always been a really important thing. As I have more grandchildren and great grandchildren, staying vibrant and active and healthy is something that's important to me. I also take a really good multivitamin, and I think that is so important because I don't know about you guys, but I don't get everything that I need from my diet. And so, especially as an aging woman, so I do take a multivitamin as well. I take actually a whole bunch of supplements. And someday I'll just go through my supplement box with you guys and show you everything I'm taking. It's a handful of pills every morning. But this is one that I've been probably most excited about. The other thing is that if you pair this with resveratrol is a really great supplement. I take it. Some of these supplements come with the resveratrol in it, but it boosts the effects of NMN and the conversion then to NAD like faster, better. So paired with resveratrol as a supplement, really good combination. And one thing I'll say, just from being somebody that tries a lot of supplements and has cycled a lot of different supplements into my morning supplement routine, definitely consistency is key, and finding out what the minimum effective dose is, because a lot of these supplements will be, say, 250 milligrams when really 500 milligrams is probably the best starting dose, depending on the supplement. But doing a little research about the lowest effective dose is so important. Thank you so much for joining me. I love and appreciate you all. If you are currently taking NMN or any kind of NAD supplement or booster, let me know, and let me know if you've experienced any changes, if you feel better, and I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love and appreciate you. Bye.